And gentlemen, we are going to get started. Thanks so much. There'll be plenty of time for mingling and fun networking activities after our very brief prepared comments here. So I just first want to thank everybody for coming out on this super cold, almost dimly lit afternoon here on campus. I know it's late in the day and it's an extremely busy time for those of us who are in classrooms and labs. So thanks a lot for your time today. And I especially want to welcome those folks who are newest members of our community. If I could have our affiliate faculty raise your hands, please, if anybody's here. Great. Welcome, you guys. You guys are like a week old into our community. So thanks a lot for joining us today. We're trying to kind of move forward this kind of slide-based phase, and I'm going to also share the mic with some of the other members of our IBES leadership team in a minute, or 2 or 3 or 10, and then we'll get some networking, and then I really hope you can stay for as long as you can to meet each other. I'm looking across the room and I'm seeing students and faculty and alumni and our affiliate faculty and postdocs, so really just an amazing community here today, and I want to give a special shout out to the live stream folks as well. Hello, thanks for joining. We're happy to have you as well. So without further ado, I just wanted to get started and recognize that this has been an amazing tenure as director at IBES for the last 18 months or so, where it's been one that's been challenged by an institute that is growing very, very rapidly. And I'm going to share some of that good news for you, as much as it's been about trying to make sure that we build a robust foundation for our continued growth and success. And while not only that, but while redefining impact within the Institute and within the campus at Brown and beyond, as we reach out and lift our sights on the issues that are so important to society right now that we touch on at IBES. So thanks for helping me, enduring through these couple slides talking about our strategic plan, because it all comes back to the plan. The strategic plan was launched about a year ago today and really outlines 4 goal areas for IBES to be moving against as we think about our future over the next 5 years. It's really a 10-year plan in a 5-year plan's shape. It's very ambitious in scope and vision, and I strongly encourage you to just take a look at the plan if you haven't read it already. It's like 8 pages, double space, so not a lengthy reading assignment, but we have 4 goal areas. As you can see, the first is really student-focused. We're very proud of our decades-long legacy in environmental and sustainability scholarship here at Brown. We take that stewardship very seriously, and we like to build on that success and think about what's next. The second goal area is really focused on research, and that's really about thinking, again, about that impact beyond the walls of our campus. So driving towards solution areas with the kinds of problems that we are working on as researchers and the kinds of products and outcomes that we are driving towards as well. So that's just a bold new vision. Not that there's not ample room for fostering and celebrating the kinds of basic research that are always underpin IBES's scholarship, but thinking about how in some way it could come together in new forms and fashions to have a greater impact in this particular moment. Oh, speaking of impact, the third goal area is around engaging for impact. And you can think about this as the ways in which we are actively reaching beyond the walls of campus and also higher education to think about reaching the public in new ways with our messages and our work and our products. We think about how we're learning from outside of academia, how we're thinking about the problems that we're sourcing, the methods that we're using, the partners that we're inviting into the work. So it's part communication, part partners engagement, and also leverages the fact that to do any of these well, you need to have an amazing communications team, you need to have an amazing communications plan, and I'll come back to that as well. Critical part of goal 3. Goal 4 is about the foundations of our community, building a strong community, building a diverse and inclusive and equitable community, making sure that everybody can live up to their own professional and personal goals for their own growth and enrichment as part of our community. It's also about operational excellence. It's about transparency and accountability for our leadership team and strong governance. Those are the kinds of things that you'll read about in Goal 4. And I'm happy to speak to each of these briefly in turn before turning it over to some of our faculty directors on the leadership team. So I'm going to touch on some highlights and early successes in each goal area. This is by far not exhaustive, so if you're watching and you say, I don't see my special thing on these slides, we celebrate you and your work. Please know this is to be kind of illustrative, not comprehensive. So the first is really an ambitious project that we had to revise and streamline our storied ENVS curriculum at the undergraduate level, and grateful for the many faculty and students who engaged in this process over the last few months, 6 months as it is. And I think Dawn will be speaking to some of the products of that work in her prepared remarks. The second piece is around our Earth Lab expansion. So welcoming a new faculty member who spurred us and motivated us, inspired us to double the capacity of our GIS lab that we house in IBES, to make sure that we can meet the demand of the students who are hungry for this kinds of skill set and knowledge, and as well as recognizing the amazing leadership of a new faculty, Siddha Salap-Aika, who's here today. Thank you, Siddha. And that was a huge lift for IBES. It was a big investment monetarily and a headache logistically. So thanks to the folks that were involved with that. Aside from Siddha, we also welcome Alan Justin to our community, who's also seated here. Welcome. It was an amazing, a new addition to our faculty in a critical space. It brings our number of School of Public Health faculty to 2 now. So we're really excited about this new expansion into the climate and health nexus specifically, and the role that it could play in driving solutions-engaged research forward. It's been amazing to watch that unfold this year with Alan and Rachel here. And we also welcome Nelsie Reyes, who's here as well. Nelsie, welcome to one of our latest staff members who's serving as academic coordinator, providing a much-needed buttressing of our academic programming in IBES as we serve more and more undergraduates, both within our concentration and outside of our concentration, who has steep demand for our coursework. Goal 2, on the research side, we've had a couple early successes that I love to talk about. One is that 2023 was the largest year for our sponsored research program in IBES history. So whether you want to talk about the number of proposals submitted, the complexity of those submissions, or the dollar amount, it was a record year. And that's wonderful as we welcome new people to our community, as we lift our sights and ambitions, as we find ways to work together in better ways across campus and beyond. This is an exciting era, and one that is going to challenge us going forward to keep up with, frankly, from a research administration side. We also were green-lighted for the new Equitable Climate Futures Initiative at Brown. So this is something that IBES is proud to lead, but also has a presence across the entire campus with lead units in the School of Public Health, the School of Engineering, and the Watson Institute, together with IBES, forming a coherent vision and shared funding and dedication to its success. It is a 3-year, $2 million initiative that really seeks to lift our ambitions for climate solutions research, with a strong focus on Providence, Rhode Island, and New England, but also recognizes that there's amazing work going on in this space around the world by Brown scholars across campus. So how can we create a platform and an infrastructure to lower the barriers to entry for folks that want to get involved in such research, and make sure that they are rewarded and incentivized to do more of it should they want to? This is in partnership with other institutions as well, most notably University of Rhode Island, playing a strong role in how that initiative took shape. And then, of course, we're interested in deepening our collaborations in the research space across Brown and our other academic institutions within the state and neighboring states as well. The third, around engaging for impact, has been an amazing year at IBES for our communications portfolio. We're welcoming 2 new communication staff, Jess Warrington and Lily, who I'm sure is Lily here, onto our staff in this last year. So this is just an incredible capacity that we now have at IBES to tell our story, to engage other folks in that storytelling, and to think about what it means to work with our students, our faculty, and our other staff as storytellers themselves, and sources of immense inspiration for not just those of us who are in our IBES community, but the broader public through our social media channels and our extensive reach that grows every day. So hats off to them for that amazing work that's ongoing. We expanded our advisory council pretty significantly by about 30% or so. And so we're happy to welcome a greater diversity of folks to the table in that very important role. We're tapping people from all different ages, all different different professions out there, and they're coming together, and they're excited to be working together, but also in subgroups and working groups and focus areas that can help us move the needle forward in areas that are critically important to IBES. So I'm super grateful for the service of our advisory council members. And last but not least, in October, we launched a new IBES Alumni and Family Network, which I think when we launched it, we really weren't sure what was going to happen with this. But in short order, it became an attractor across the nation and beyond for alumni and family and friends who are either working in the space of climate sustainability and the environment or deeply interested and invested in the success of IBES within this space. And so now we have 240 people signed up since October on this network, and we're really excited to think about not only how we serve this community and what it looks like to them, but also how they can plug into our work, whether it's on the educational side, the research side, the partnership landscape. So a big shout out to our communications team for getting that off the ground and keeping it successful over these last months. Last but not least, goal 4, we've probably seen the most work on. Again, stepping in as director to an institute that was under really steep growth trajectories and thinking about how do we buttress and create a foundation for what we know is continued growth and success, kind of like building the airplane as you go moment this year, making sure that we have the right structures in place and the right processes. And I'm not going to lie, that's very much a work in progress, but I'm excited to share some of these early successes. Most notably, we did form a new IBES leadership team. You're going to hear from our faculty directors today, speaking to the portfolios of work that they have developed and brought to the table at the executive support level. And it's just been amazing to work with each of these people. We also welcome Katie Silberman to our team just a couple weeks ago, our latest addition to the staff. She comes to us from government community relations here at Brown with a deep understanding of not just the Brown landscape, but the broader Providence, Rhode Island, and New England space that we are aspired to work in and have impact on. So excited to have her on the leadership team as well and playing a role in the strategic plan implementation. We are working through what is the most ambitious overhaul to the IBES standards and criteria in many years at this point. So we're touching on critical areas like faculty hiring processes. We're touching on critical areas like tenure and promotion criteria and standards that we're trying to align with our strategic plan's goals and make sure that we are best in class and innovating wherever we possibly can in these areas to achieve that community building and the impact that we'd like to have. Space is always an issue at 85 Waterman, like it is across campus. And I think I just have to hand it to Mark Margetta. Is Matt here? Matt? No, Matt? He's okay. No, not here. But he's been amazing in helping me understand the landscape for space in our building and in the urban environmental lab and thinking about how we can maximize that. We're using kind of a post-COVID world, next level world where people share offices and flex offices and have different schedules that complement each other, both within our staff and across our faculty. So thank you for your patience, y'all. But I'd like to think at the end of it, we'll have some interesting templates that may be shareable to other units who are facing this kinds of crunches. And last but not least, to our affiliate faculty, 35 new affiliate faculty welcomed just a couple weeks ago. So let's give them a round of applause. I'm just so excited about that. That is basically doubling the number of affiliate faculty that we have as part of our community. And this community is going to be key to our success going forward. It helps us think about what's going on in other units across campus that we could contribute to and that we could benefit from, but also it makes sure that we are building a community that is beyond the walls of 85 Waterman and the Urban Environmental Lab. And to do so purposefully is one of our key goals. And to give you as much value as you give us is what we're aspired to do. So stay tuned, affiliate faculty, as we think about tapping you for your ideas, for engagement, and value add. Okay, I'm going to talk briefly about the priorities for the year ahead before turning over to our various members of our leadership team who are here today to share their work. I think the first priority is to make good on our strategic plan's bold ideas around increasing student internship opportunities and professional development opportunities as well. It's one of the strongest pieces of feedback we heard from our student communities. We'd like to know what we can do with our degrees. We'd like to know exactly how we can tap into those amazing jobs that are out there that we're interested in getting. So how can we build out that infrastructure? Excited to work with the Center for Career Explorations as we move forward with that, but I think we can can expect a markedly expanded portfolio by next summer and growing thereafter. We are going to be welcoming 4 new IBES faculty next year, bringing our total to 26 faculty from 22 this year, which kind of like starts to sound like an awful lot of people. 3 of those will be tenure track faculty, 1 in environmental history, 1 in economics, and 1 as yet to be determined underway as a target opportunity search, and 1 will be a professor of the practice in sustainable investing and financing. So making room for those folks, welcoming them, getting them started and supported and going will be a big goal for 2024 and 5. Okay, I just mentioned the professor of the practice in sustainable investing and financing. This will be a big goal area for this next year. I have been working with a group of alumni and friends on thinking about what we would like to do in this space, and we kind of have a nascent plan. What we're missing is this anchor capacity in IBES in the form of a faculty member who could anchor this program. So again, bringing in that professor of the practice. We're in a finalist stage right now with that search, and really excited to be welcoming them in and think about not just what can we offer in the classroom, but what can we offer in the ecosystem, including the amazing capacity that Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship brings to the table, and thinking about what's next. What does serving the student body look like in this space, and how can we be we don't have a business school, but how can we better them at that particular game in thinking about our leaders of tomorrow coming out of this kind of program? So I'm really inspired by that, and I know our students have identified that as a demand area that we feel IBES is positioned to meet. We are going to be building out an ambitious 5-year-plus communications plan for IBES. As any of you may know me, I am very big on communications in general, and I'm really excited to be working with our new excellent communication staff members here and all of you. So I'll put a fine point on that, because this communications plan will only be as good as it serves everybody in this room and far, far beyond. What does that mean? That means engagement in the process when we are looking for your feedback. That means being honest with us about where we're doing well and where we're not. So please consider yourselves as valuable stakeholders for this process. I think it is critical to IBES's success that we have an effective and sustainable plan in this area. Engagement with students is really important. There are a couple efforts that are student-led that are really important, and they're timely reminders that we probably haven't done as much as we could have in the last 18 months in engaging our students in the process of our foundation building and the work that's going around in many areas of our work. And so there are a couple incredible exceptions, like the student engagement in the curriculum revision process and many other areas where I think students have been deeply involved and engaged. But there are a couple areas that remind us that we have work to do in this space, that students really care about IBES. They are invested in us as an institute, not just from their own personal success, but for the impact that we have in the broader world and the role that we could be playing if we really do it well. So thanks to the students for their continued reminders about this, and I personally look forward to designing an engagement strategy for students that can really help us leverage their intellectual horsepower, their passions, and their perspectives in this next critical year of IBES's growth. Last but very much not least, we are going to be launching this mega research initiative called Equitable Climate Futures, and a number of other very large, ambitious research programs that either have started in the last few months or will be starting in the next 6 months. And so this will be a time for us to put our feet to the fire and test, do some fire drills on what real research collaboration looks like across this campus and how it can benefit from the broader community of affiliate faculty and the faculty who are across campus and the faculty that we're working with as incredible external collaborators on these mega initiatives. So that's really going to be a big challenge and opportunity for us, and I'm really excited about what we'll learn and what we'll accomplish in these next critical years in this portfolio. Okay, last but not least, we're having a party to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. IBES is turning 10 this year. Isn't that so exciting, guys? It's amazing. Time flies. But we're really excited to be having a party here during commencement weekend. We hope you can all join us. There's going to be cake. There may be some adult beverages and non-adult beverages as well. It's a great chance for us to come together as a community and celebrate all that IBES is in its 10-year incarnation and all of the decades of work and investment and success that preceded its existence 10 years ago through the Environmental Studies program. So really just hope you can make it that day, and I think it'll be a wonderful occasion, not just for the look back, but also look ahead. So thanks in advance for that. All right, I am going to turn it over to Dawn King, our Director of Undergraduate Studies. Thanks, Dawn.
So Kim gave us each 5 minutes, so this is going to be very brief. But she's asked us to give a little update for the leadership team on what we've been doing for the past year. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Studies, so I'll be talking about curriculum and some of our undergraduate-facing programs. We are growing. Kim had mentioned the faculty growth, but we're also growing as far as our concentrators are concerned. So just between 2019 and 2024, which is going to be our upcoming graduating class, we've almost tripled the amount of students that we're serving in any given year. So that is wonderful to see. Also just, early and regular decision students showing interest in ENVS. I like to call, right around 2024 is probably the Trump effect, where those are right around in that area but I think we like these numbers because it also demonstrates the student interest before they even get to Brown. And that's also really exciting for us. And certainly not all of these students will become concentrators, but we hope they come to Brown and continue to study the environment. So again, really, really exciting stuff as far as growth with our undergrads. Kim had mentioned briefly about our curriculum changes. This has been about 1 year in the making. We really did a kind of full revamp and assessed according to the strategic plan and according to things that we were also hearing from faculty and importantly undergraduate students, what they were asking for in the curriculum. And after 10 years of having our initial curriculum with very few faculty, we felt this was a great time to do so. So it was about a year. And we wanted to create a holistic interdisciplinary A-B, and many probably don't know what our old curriculum looked like, but there was 5 tracks within the A-B and then 5 tracks within the SCB, and it was like 8 pages long just to look through our curriculum. And it was just as confusing for the faculty as it was for students, and we relied on a lot of other departments, and a lot of people actually in this room, we relied on your classes to fit in all those students we had with very little faculty. And we felt we were really at a great time to reevaluate this. And so instead of tracks for our AB, we have decided on a much more holistic interdisciplinary approach, which is really IBES in a nutshell. We are an interdisciplinary program. So for that AB degree, it's important that our students have at least one course in the earth sciences and biological, ecological sciences. This was a wonderful way for us to guarantee something that the undergrads have been asking for a very long time, is to require an environmental justice and equity course for all of our students. So this was a great way to do that, as well as adding issues with history and humanities. So there's also a big effort at Brown and many faculty members in IBES who are pushing humanities in the environment. And we actually have a ton of courses at Brown that fit into that category. And then we streamlined the SCB tracks. For any of you who already knew the curriculum, they're fairly similar. We'll have a climate and energy track, conservation science and policy track, environmental justice and health. That health is a new word that we're very excited about because of the new faculty members in a partnership with the School of Public Health, where they really want to also see more and more classes and research in that realm, and sustainable development and governance. So any students who are interested in those topical areas, this is so for the tracks, it'll be about the same, but we're really excited about this really interdisciplinary and nice flexible schedule for our students that guarantees they know a little bit of something about all sectors of the environment. This is for everybody, and I wanted to spend some time on this for, also Kim mentioned that we're trying to develop and grow our internship and professional development through IBES. And one thing that we're very proud of is that we've had these summer internships now for 7 or 8 years. And the idea behind these internships is that we have these every single year. So they have been wonderful for our undergraduates, but also wonderful for our community partners because they know they can count on us, not just for the summer of 2019, but also the summer of 2020, 21, 22, 23. So they can plan for that next summer. So, and they know that they'll have an intern. And so we have one with the Audubon, and it's open to the entire Brown undergraduate student population. And applications are still open. So if you have any students interested or asking you about summer experiences, internship possibilities, that we offer a ton. And some of them are much more focused on like field research, with some students are in. The Nature Conservancy hosts 2 students and they take them down to South County and they get on boats and they measure fish and they go in the lab. And they are especially wonderful for those of you who might have students interested of selecting students with 0 field research experience. And I just love that. I think they must do it on purpose because they want to pull up those students who haven't had that opportunity. So we always get great feedback from them. One with Orion Magazine, right? So environmental writing, journalistic writing. One with the Sabin Center, 2 with the University of Miami School of Law, which are always very popular. It's wonderful having these partners because most of those positions are reserved for graduate students, for law students. So our students are right there side by side with graduate students, law students, and their training. So reach out to me. It's on our website. Students can go to, I believe it's, what do they have? Handshake. It is Handshake now. They could apply at Handshake. Not too much time left, but there's still time. And then finally, another wonderful opportunity that we open up to all Brown undergraduates as long as they are writing their senior thesis on an environmental topic. And these are the Voss Fellowships. And it's much, if you're familiar with the Royce Fellowships, it's very similar, that we give them funding. We help them with travel and expenses if needed over the summer. And it's a year-long fellowship where they also gain tools and learning how to communicate, specifically science communication or research communication, where they meet, once a month at least to develop those skills. And I think that's all I have for curriculum.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see you all today. My name is Jim Kellner. I'm an associate professor here in IBES. I've been here, how's this? I've been here for 11 years, so pre-IBES. I was one of the faculty members hired into the organization called the Environmental Change Initiative many years ago. I'm the Director of Early Career Development and Training, and what I want to do today is talk to you a little bit about what this position is. It's a new position on the leadership team, and it's here to do something different. In part, it's here to respond to some of the issues that Kim pointed out a few moments ago about students coming to us and asking us, I love my degree in environmental studies. I love what I'm learning in the environmental sciences. Now what? Right? I believe that my job here in this position is to help cultivate an answer to that question, now what? And I think my job is to help you get connected to some things out there in the real world that create a vision for yourself, applying the things that you're learning here outside of Brown. I want to say a few things about myself, what my role is. I'm going to talk about the kind of formal administrative things that I do, and then the bigger picture vision that I'd like to bring to this position. So as I said, I've been here for 11 years. I'm a faculty member also in the Department of Ecology, Evolution, and Organismal Biology, and I work in the field of spaceborne remote sensing, especially as it relates to carbon accounting. So that's mapping forests, figuring out how much carbon is stored above the ground in the wood. On the IBES leadership team, formally, I have some obligations. I oversee the Graduate Student Research and Training Award, and also I'm responsible for overseeing the process of hiring the Voss postdoctoral fellowships. You maybe have some familiarity with the undergraduate part of that. We also hire postdocs through a program funded by Peter Voss originally, and that is one of the gems in the crown of this place. We get great scholars coming in here. It's become a source of pride to the Institute. It's something nationally that gives us recognition. We get great postdocs in here that then go on to do great things outside the academy. So those are some of the formal administrative things that I'm responsible for. I'd like to talk to you, though, about the vision. I want to talk to you about what it would mean for IBES to have a graduate program. We don't have a graduate program today, and we have no plan to have a formal graduate program anytime soon. What we do have, though, is a number of faculty who are affiliated with their own home departments, and those departments have their own graduate programs. The students we're recruiting into those graduate programs to work with those faculty often have interests in things that are kind of IBES-y, if that's a word that I can use. And the students, they want to be around other students in IBES. For example, my own students have a lot in common with students from DEEPS or sociology, and they want to sit in the same room with them. They want to talk with them. They want to learn from them. And so one of the things that I'm thinking about is what would be a level up from where we are right now? What would be a level up from having your traditional disciplinary graduate programs to something that puts an IBES stamp on that? Maybe that could look like a pathway through a curriculum, just awareness of what the courses are that are out there that students in DEEPS might want to take in history, or a student in sociology might want to take in EEOB as an example. The second thing I'd like to talk about is undergraduates. The question that Kim raised, what do I do now? Well, I can tell you I've had a lot of conversations with people outside the academy, in government, in the corporate world, in NGOs. And when they learn that I'm a Brown University professor, they say, why aren't you doing more to educate the kind of people we actually need? Somebody actually said that to me. And I took that not as a criticism, but really as a question. And what is the need out there? What are the ways in which people with a background in the environmental sciences or environmental studies could go out there and have an impact on an agricultural company, or a bank, or a financial services company, or an insurance company, or the Nature Conservancy? What are the ways? I want to think really hard about that, and I want to bring that knowledge here. I want to talk with you about what you want. What does the dream version of your future look like? I genuinely, students, undergraduates, I want you to write to me and give me the answer to that question. What does the dream version of the future version of you look like? What does you at 30 look like? I want to know the answer to that question so that we can think about how to cultivate the right kinds of training and opportunities both inside the classroom and outside the classroom. This could be employment, this could be internship, this could be professional introductions, this could be panels we could host, this could be people we could bring to campus so that you could meet them and get to know them. I want to know what those things are so that we can deliver on that. Scott.
I'm going to be Scott. This is a tough job. Thanks, Jim. With deep apologies, I am not Scott, as you probably realized. Scott, unfortunately, is under the weather today, and so I'm going to try to do justice to his portfolio as Director of Research at IBES. And really, he chose to talk about our seed grant program. And this has been well, Scott, okay, he's in sociology. Hopefully, you'll have a chance to meet him at another time. So today, we're going to talk about the seed grant program that IBES has run for many years now, as you can see here, and it has awarded a couple dozen different grants. It has invested almost $1 million to date across 3 different grant type buckets: working group grants, single investigator awards, and multi-investigator awards. It has also served a large diversity of different departments on campus, and I would note some of those lie outside the departments in which faculty are jointly appointed in IBES. So that's exciting, and I think it's a sign of success, something we hope to build on. These seed grants will be available going forward to all core faculty affiliates and their collaborators. So that's how we can really serve a diverse community here. And in analyzing the output from the seed grants that we have had to date as a prerequisite for relaunching this program later this year, Scott did this great survey, and thanks to so many of you for responding to that survey. He was absolutely overwhelmed by the care and responsiveness of the grantees to this important survey call. So books and chapters and more traditional academic products, but I think most notably some of that work has landed in the classroom of benefit to our students students. I think that's super notable. Some of it has landed into large external funding opportunities for our faculty and students, which I also think is an amazing vote on the return on investment that IBES has made in these grants to have bolstered our Brown research portfolio. And then last but not least, on the lower right, you'll see some areas of social impact of our Sea Grant programs that go beyond traditional scholarship and dollars to think about the engagement and diversity, equity, inclusion work that the grants have fostered, outreach and engagement with the public and policymakers, media attention and external awards to our faculty directly arising from these seed grants. So this is some of the ways that we hope to guide the program going forward and to celebrate and incentivize and champion a broad range of output from the Sea Grant program, some of it mapping traditionally, some of it not. So building for the future, we are announcing a Sea Grant program for 2024. So we're really excited to relaunch after a year of digging into the program workings and benefits. And so there'll be a new call for proposals coming out very soon, perhaps as early as next week. You will certainly not miss it. You'll see it on all of our channels. And you'll have until May 1st to think about putting in a proposal for submission. So I can tell you a couple things, and there are a couple things that are still TBD, like the name of the program. All right, so if you have great ideas for a name that's not IBES Sea Grant Program, that would be really cool. So maybe you're more creative than the leadership team. And then also, I think, of course, more substantively is the focus for the Sea Grant program. So what we're really looking to do is align for impact with our strategic plan and not overlap with the OVPR's Sea Grant programs that exist and are quite accessible to so many of Brown's faculty. So where is the niche that we can pour some resources onto and see that return to our strategic plan objectives and goals? So I think, as you can see, that's going to be fairly broadly defined in line with our strategic plan. So we're hoping that we'll see a broad diversity of tasks taking place. I will say that it's very likely that a good foundation for the Sea Grant program will be transdisciplinary research. And that's the research that brings faculty together from across disciplines and forces them or leverages partnerships that exist beyond academia as well. So, you know, what are the many ways of impact that faculty define their work through, and how can they work with external partners to think about forming research teams that are sourcing problems and defining solutions together as an integrated research team? So that's a bit of a nod. You can start thinking about that. Last but not least, I'll turn over to Dan Ibarra on DEI. Thanks, Dan.
All right, thanks, Kim. Thanks, everyone, for being here. So my name is Dan Ibarra. I'm an assistant professor in DEEPS and IBES, and I'm the director of diversity, equity, inclusion, and I'm really proud to stand in front of you in that role here today. So just briefly, sort of similar to Jim, you know, what is my role? I have several sort of formal roles. One of them is to lead the IBES DIAC committee, which I'll talk about on the next slide. But I think most importantly is to serve on the leadership team and serve our community to ensure best DEI practices permeate through everything that we do within IBES, the decision-making that we make. And so I'd encourage you to read the strategic plan. DEI is mentioned throughout, but importantly, you know, we want your identities and your lived experiences to be a part of who we are at IBES. And I would just say that I'm a liaison for all community members, so feel free to come talk to me at any time. So the DIAC, many of you probably have DIACs also in your home departments. Who are we for IBES? We reformed the DIAC this year. 3 undergraduates, 2 graduate affiliates, a postdoc, 1 staff member, and 3 faculty. And our sort of charge is to meet regularly to discuss and cultivate initiatives to promote diversity and representation and promote these inclusive practices at IBES. And what we've done over the last 6 months is we've looked at these various parts of the strategic plan and we've reflected on them as a group, and we've sort of within the group thought about what we need to do. And thinking about the strategic plan and the idea of building for success in the future, we really felt that we needed to survey the community a lot further. So today, in addition to announcing the SEED program, we're announcing the 2024 climate survey for IBES, which will be launched next week. Why another survey? You might laugh, right? And so there's a few reasons. One of them is that as an interdisciplinary unit, we actually had a pretty low response rate in the 2023 campus-wide survey, and it lacked specificity. This is sort of the most important part towards what we do within IBES, within 85 Waterman, within UEL, within our ENVS classrooms. And additionally, that was very much a quantitative survey. The DIAC felt that we needed these qualitative questions specific to IBES that are important issues. And so we've come up with 4 or 5 questions that you'll see on this survey that focus on issues that have been brought forward. For example, Don already mentioned environmental justice within our curriculum and scholarship. So our desire over the next few months is to identify key issues for further work within IBES. We're hoping to possibly have focus groups or take some of the key issues and really bring them to the IBES community for future events, future workshops, et cetera. So OIED, the Office of Institutional Equity and Diversity, are helping us administer this survey. And for the students in the room, if we get greater than 50% participation rate, we will hold a pizza party in the UEL. So that's the incentive. And I really hope, we've tried to keep the survey somewhat brief. And by keeping it somewhat, brief, we hope to have a high response rate among, everyone, including grad affiliates, postdocs, and affiliate faculty within IBES. So thanks so much, and I think we're on to the networking event. Yeah.
Hey everyone, we're going to play musical chairs. Only nobody loses a seat. Nobody loses a seat. So the way this will work is people in the first row will shift over to the right, the row behind them shift over to the left, and we'll do it in a serpentine nature, and then we're going to have Q&A. It'll be about 3 minutes for each person for these questions.
Talk across the road, is that right?
So it would be, say I was sitting here, I would move over one, you would move over, well, you don't need to move over one, ask questions. After 3 minutes, people would then shift over another. If you're at the end of the row, you would then shift to the next row and go over.
But talking to somebody right next to you, you're going to be next to them the whole time.
But in the first round, you don't have to move. So you could just move over to Dan, anybody that's here. You just want to make sure you're paired up with someone. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. And I have a bell that I will ring to let you know. I'll also give you a warning, and then these are questions, because I know you're all so fascinating, you just want to talk forever, but there will be a reception afterwards so you can talk more. So if you don't have someone next to you right now, shift over so that you're paired off.
A different person than you maybe came with.
Right. If you know someone really well, let's try and talk to somebody else.
I'm in deep for the environmental science. So my undergrad was actually, so it was in a civil environmental department that was renewable energy.
I'm just going to say when I'm on the switch.
It was very focused on solar. I ended up going into the
yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if that's kind of like Okay, so we're trying to like get it done. Yeah, yeah. I wish I was
is the last round. We're moving on to the Q&A part of the program.
Okay, we're going to transition to our very last part, and I'm sorry to cut your conversation tiny bit short, but you know, it's getting late. So, and we need to get to food as well. So I just wanted to make sure that we left some time for questions from the audience, just of anybody who spoke today on the leadership team, if you have curiosities about their portfolio or something that was not discussed that you'd like us to consider. We'd just love to hear from you guys. Take advantage of this moment to have you in the room with us. And also live stream folks, if you want to, I don't know if there's a mechanism for them to submit a question, I guess not particularly. Not particularly. You guys can let me know on email. Send your thoughts via email. Any questions? I know it's like 5:02 or something today. Yes. Michael.
Can I just make a comment?
Of course.
The positive energy in this room is just extraordinary. And a lot of it is circulating. The positive energy in this room is actually extraordinary. And I think a significant part of that comes from your presence, because I now recognize that while you have social media charisma, you're much better live. So thank you for enabling me to see you live and to see this community so inspired.
I mean, my energy is coming from here, right? So y'all give me fuel, as I like to say, and it's so true. It's such an honor, such a privilege to be in this position at IBES, and it's an amazing community. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? We're like, I want to get back to the musical chairs. Going once? Going twice? All right, well, we will move to the informal networking. You can do musical chairs if you'd like still, I suppose. Otherwise, we'll enjoy some refreshments and get to know each other a little better. Thanks for coming, and definitely stay tuned for all the ways we are going to invite you for continual engagement in the work at IBES. Thanks so much.